Today on Review This Thing, we're going to review this thing, the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal. This is Robbie with Review This Thing. In the past few months, I've really gotten into predator hunting and trapping. We've done a little hog hunting in the past, and we've really liked using Sightmark night vision scopes. This year, we thought we would dive into the world of thermals. If you've used a thermal scope, comment below, let us know which one, and let us know what you think about it. I've had this one out coyote hunting several times this year, so I'm ready to tell you what I think. Let's review this thing. As always, we're going to tell you the facts. First up is fit. This Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal is tiny. It weighs barely over a pound. It's just over 6 inches long and 3 inches wide and just shy of 3 inches tall. So unlike some other optics, it's really compact and lightweight, so it feels like it's barely even there. Carrying it around to different sets and glassing open fields was super easy. As far as mounting it, it comes with a pick rail attachment, so you just open it up, put it where you want, and tighten it back down. If you have a rail on your gun, it's just a matter of getting it set at the right eye relief. It comes with a rubber eyepiece, which can help with that, and also blocks any extra light that could mess up your sight picture. The way this sight is made, there's no extra rings or mounts. It makes switching it from gun to gun really simple. I've had it on 2 different guns so far, and I would say it fit on the AR style rifle much better than on a bolt gun. Mainly because it is so short and compact, I found myself really having to stretch forward to get a good sight picture and couldn't relax behind the bolt gun. Sightmark does have a mounting extension you could use with this and make it fit a bolt gun much better. Lastly, they say it's rated for up to a .308 caliber rifle, so basically don't put it on anything bigger than that. So knowing I could have really used a mount extension for my bolt action rifle and remembering the caliber restrictions, but being very appreciative of the small size, and it'll basically fit any gun with a pick rail out there, we're going to give fit a 4.7 out of 5. Now is the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal as advertised. As we're talking through all this, if you decide you want one of these, click the link in the description. It'll take you to our website where you can learn a lot more. The main thing Sightmark advertises is that it has sharp thermal imagery. Before we get into that, I want to point out that the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal does have onboard video recording with sound. So all the videos we show you were filmed with this scope onto a micro SD card, then uploaded to YouTube, so that may affect some of the quality just a little bit. Now, as far as the imagery. Thermal optics use a high sensitivity thermal sensor or microbolometer to detect the differences in temperatures among objects in your field of view, creating the image you see. The more sensitive that sensor, the more clear and detailed the image is you see. The Wraith Mini's microbolometer has a sensitivity of less than 40 millikelvin NEDT, which tells us the smallest difference in temperature that the sensor will be able to detect. The smaller that number, the more sensitive and better that image. And anything with a rating of less than 40 is considered good. It also has a 17 micron pixel pitch, which measures the distance between pixels in an image. Most thermal scopes are in the 12 to 17 range, and anything under 17 is considered good. The sensor's resolution is 384 by 288. On this, higher is better. Think TV resolution. But 384 by 288 is the benchmark for where good starts. I know we may have lost you in all those numbers, but to sum it all up, the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal meets that base criteria for being considered a good thermal optic. They advertise the detection range at 1,400 yards, which is basically just the furthest distance at which a heat signature could be picked up. Now keep in mind, actually being able to identify an animal is probably going to be much less. We haven't tested all the way out to 1,400 yards, but we have been able to easily pick up heat signatures up to 800 yards and identify animals out to at least 400 yards. Overall, I would say the image in the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal really depends on your ability to use the focus wheel. There have been times I was able to change the focus so bad it would actually lose the heat signature. But when it's focused well and picking up a heat signature from an animal, the picture is sharp and well defined. I will say that the trees in the background weren't quite as sharp and clear as other scopes I've used, but that's the only thing I'm going to mark it down for, and we're going to give, as advertised, a 4.75 out of 5. Next up, construction and durability. The body is made from aluminum and feels sturdy. It's so compact, I'm not worried about hitting it on anything and breaking one end off. It comes with lens covers for protection, but I seem to have lost mine. As I mentioned, it also comes with a rubber eyepiece to minimize the light that can be seen coming from it, so hopefully you aren't lighting up your whole face while hunting. It is rated IPX6 waterproof, so it should be fine with rain, but not submersion. I have hunted on a few evenings when the dew was pretty heavy, but that's as close as I've got to getting it really wet. All of your control buttons for working through the menu, zooming, and zeroing are conveniently located right on the top. And the focus knob is right on the front and has this little extension that helps you find it easy. As far as the display, you have 5 color palette options, including green hot, white hot, black hot, magenta, and rainbow. It also has 10 different reticle options with your choice of one of 9 different reticle colors. So you should be able to get your display exactly how you want it. And with the 1024 by 768 OLED display, the image you see is pretty sharp and clear. Sighting in was relatively easy, partially because I've used Sightmark night vision scopes before, and this one works basically the same. They call this process the one-shot zero. Shoot one shot, open up the menu, select reticle, then zero, aim where you were aiming, and use the buttons to move the red X to the point of impact. Save those coordinates, and then take another shot. It usually does take me a few shots to get it dialed in, but this process is relatively simple. The battery compartment is super easy to get to and work. It uses 2 CR123A batteries, and you can also connect an external battery pack. They say battery life is about 4.5 hours when you're not recording and about 3.5 when you are. Based on my testing, I would agree with those numbers and maybe even extend them. I've actually been hunting with it, scanning most of the time, for up to 6 hours before we had to change the batteries. Overall, the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal is easy to use, compact, has great battery life, and gives you plenty of color palette and reticle options. But keeping in mind, there are more expensive scopes on the market with options like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi connectivity that definitely increase the price. Not having that connectivity is the only reason I would take points off here. So for construction and durability, we're going to give it a 4.9 out of 5. Now for testimonials and reviews. Overall, this scope gets pretty good reviews, but there were a few complaints. A few people just said that theirs didn't work at all, but they were able to return them. I really hate that for them because ours has worked great since the beginning. A couple of people said their screens froze. The sensor does automatically calibrate when in use. When it does that, the screen freezes for just a couple seconds. That may have been what they were talking about. I'm not sure. A couple of people said their image wasn't as clear as they've seen in other videos. That's clearly a personal opinion, and I've been impressed with what I've seen so far. And the last complaint is cost. We'll get to that just here in a second. You know what we do? We're going to give you the score that we found. So for testimonials and reviews, it gets a 4.5 out of 5. And finally, should I buy this thing? The thermal scope market is growing with new ones coming out all the time. MSRP on this one is around $1,700, but I've seen it selling for around $1,500. You can find thermal scopes that cost less, but remember those baseline numbers that we talked about earlier. When I did a quick search, it seemed like the cheaper ones had a lower quality thermal sensor, which is going to give you a lower quality image and increase the difficulty actually identifying a possible target. Scoring on should I buy this thing for thermals may be the most definite "it depends" statement we've ever made. It really depends on your hunting goals and budget. Are you hunting in close quarters or open fields? Do you need some of the more expensive options like Wi-Fi connectivity or Bluetooth? And would you be interested in even higher end features like a rangefinder that actually works at night? But probably the most simple question to answer is, what is your budget? If budget is no option and you want the best thermal possible with all those high-end features, then the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal is probably not what you want. Keeping in mind an entry-level thermal price range, if you're looking for the best bang for your buck, the Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal may be exactly what you need. The features and sensor on this one, for me, seem better than others in that price range. And the picture clarity and heat signature recognition is spot on. So for should I buy this thing, we're going to give the Wraith Mini Thermal in that price range a 4.9 out of 5. Thanks for watching our Sightmark Wraith Mini Thermal Scope review video. While you're here, like it, comment, share it with your friends. If you haven't, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our weekly videos. Head on over to our website, reviewthisthingtv.com, and subscribe to our newsletter. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. And as always, thanks for watching.